of this documentary is to immerse ourselves in the mindset and the culture of the Roseville firefighter, not just any Roseville firefighter, but the firefighter who came before the current generation. We feel as though when these folks retire and these members leave this department for the very last time, they carry stories with them. And this is an attempt to basically retain those stories and to pass them on from generation to generation. The Roseville Firefighters is a group of men and women who are dedicated to serving our community both on and off duty, whether that's a fundraiser or answering the call on an everyday basis when someone calls 911. In addition, this documentary also serves as a way for us to humanize the person behind the badge. The stories and the emotions you're going to see in this documentary are real, and we hope that this documentary really serves to highlight the members who have dedicated their time and service to our community.
I'm Ozzie Peachy. I started in Roseville Fire Department in 1979, but I started as a volunteer in 1974, where I worked for a military fire department at Beale Air Force Base in McClellan. And I also had 1 year with CAL FIRE and 3 seasons with the U.S. Forest Service. I retired in 2010 with Roseville Fire as a fire engineer. And throughout the years, got to see a lot of interesting things. Basically 40 years of service.
I'm Tony LaPlante. I started with Roseville. I'm still here too. They call me kind of dumb for doing that, but I started with Roseville in 1983. Right out of high school, we had a program. Frank did the same thing, and actually there's a couple guys here that did. They had a sleeper, they called it, they changed the name, Firefighter Age Sleeper. It was not a reserve because you were kind of working full shifts in the summer months, and then in the winter time you came in the evening time. So it was a little bit different than the regular job, but still worked pretty much full time for 4 months out of the year with the guys on regular shift work. And like I said, I started right out of high school. I graduated on Friday, and on Monday morning, I walked up the back ramp, scared to death, to Captain Sharp at the time, who you're gonna meet here in a minute, and introduced myself. And I didn't even know I wanted to do the fire service. I kind of stumbled into it through working other city jobs over the summer. And while I was going to Sierra College, he told me that's a good program for students because of the schedule. So that's kind of what got me into it. And then I started, and kind of the rest is history. I've been here ever since, and I absolutely love it. I think there's not a better career in my mind, obviously, because I'm still here, and I could have left many years ago, but still here. And part of it's because of these guys right here, I think, that made me love the job.
Yeah, my name's Buddy Laporte. I'm probably the oldest one here. People say, when did you start on the fire department? My answer is usually, Eisenhower was president. And Goodwood Knight was governor. Actually, that was in August of 1959. After 6 months of break-in and training, I worked my first shift at this station February 5th, 1960. Getting started in those days was a little different than today. I received a phone call from the fire chief. He asked me to come down. I went down and I talked to him a little bit. He said, I want you to take engine 3 out on the front ramp. I want you to put it in gear. I want you to pump. And I want you to do a one-man raise with a 24. Now, at that time, a 24 was a wooden ladder. But we got through it. I went through, I hooked up, I did that, I got water going, I tied in, raised the ladder, got it all going, got off, backed the pumper up into the garage. He said, buddy, you did good. Here's your badge. You start tomorrow, you're a full-time engineer.
Yeah.
And that was it, and that's how I got started. I retired in '89. And I'm here today with all these people, and I love being with them. I just, still to this day, I love the fire department. Never change. I'm the only one left that worked with Terry Sharp's dad on shift work. So, go back a long time.
Hi, I'm Terry Sharp. I started in 1969 right out of high school as a volunteer firefighter. Later came on as a student aide or student firefighter, whatever the name was, sleeper at the time, and did that for 3 or 4 years, and then stayed on as a volunteer and got hired full-time in July of 1979. I went up through the ranks and retired as assistant chief, and also like Bud said, referred to my dad, I am a third generation firefighter for the city of Roseville.
I'm Jim Giblin. I'm kind of the baby out of this group. I retired in 2020. I started the fire service in 1986 with the neighboring fire department, South Placer, and I did about half my time there, 16 years, and I did 17 years here in Roseville. And I kind of got to know all these guys because we were neighboring, so I grew up with them. I like to say I was in kind of like had one foot in the past and one foot in the future. So when I started, I got to ride tailboards and didn't have the SCBAs and all that stuff, but then I got into the future and come to Roseville, and it was like a lottery ticket. Actually, Chief Sharp here hired me, and Chief Wagner, so I don't know why, but it was a great career, and I've enjoyed it.
It's a good choice.
Yeah.
All right. My name's Frank Cervantes. I was firefighter, sleeper, reserve, whatever they called it back in between my junior and senior year. I was 17 and a half, and I always knew I wanted to be a fireman. After I was trying to light bugs on fire, pretty much where our house is, Terry, where the house on Treasure Lane there, and started a little fire. And I ran, hid behind the fence. Fire department came out, and I thought it was pretty neat, and that kind of sparked interest back then. When I was 17 and a half, I applied for it through the ROP program. So it started, I was at Roseville High School, but the classes were at San Juan High School, so you do every day at a fire station at what is now Sac Metro, but back then it was Arden, Arcade, Carmichael, Rancho Cordova, so we did stints there for about 2 months. And got on as a reserve and went to Chico State a couple years, but my mind was always back, I don't want to do the fire service thing. Got hired full-time in 1985, December. Chief Goolsby called me and says, "Hey, I got a Christmas gift for you. If you'd like it, I got a badge with your name on it."
Wow.
And I was like, yeah, I was excited. And retired as a fire captain in 2014. And one of the best jobs I ever had. I retired fairly early because I did my 30 years. I had some shoulder surgeries, and a couple of my friends got cancer within the department and outside the department. And I thought, you know what? I can retire, so it's a good time. I want to live a decent life. Although I do miss the guys. Biggest thing. I loved serving the city I lived in, and wouldn't have changed a thing.
You go on and open the box.
Yeah,
and
get
find
on top of the rig.
I remember that.
That's just a little more than radios. Remember, there was one radio on every call. It's like one radio every.
Also in boxes. You know, they were in boxes.
I know.
On top of the rig.
Yeah.
Shed. You couldn't get to
Had like
them.
one or two.
Put the fire on.
You want to talk about some changes because you weren't using, and like he said, one radio too.
Yeah.
It's like,
Oh, yeah?
you know, the way Roten tells a story is so awesome because he says, when I started at Roseville Fire, Josh says, we had 2 stations, station 1 and 3. He goes, the engines at the station were station 5, engine 5, engine 8, grass 9. And the only thing was number 1 was the rescue, R1. And the call sign for the captain was Chief 5 on the one radio you had. Yeah,
I know it.
You talk about kind of weird, huh?
Oh, yeah.
Things have changed, huh?
Well, do you remember also,
How about-
when you come down, you had different units, right? All those units, and you come downstairs, and it's like, oh, it's a grass fire. You go, oh, I'm on grass 9 on that. And you come downstairs, and you go, yeah, I'm on that, and you leave. Or if you're on Tanker 7 across town,
Right.
or if you're on your structure fire on, engine with the old sewing machine, engine 3
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah. They
And,
call it the sewing machine. 'Cause
the sewing
the way it
machine.
sounded, I think.
And then if you're out of town on a Jaws call, you go on that. The other guy stays. It was just
Bill
You remember
Hanson
all
used
that?
to do that. Bill Hanson would
Well,
And
Bill
he'd
Hanson-
change it. I was thinking he would change it as you come down the
You
stairs.
came downstairs. You go like this. You wake up, come
Everybody
downstairs.
huddle up.
Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'm like,
Remember that?
Yep, come down the stairs and Hanson changes
You
the
go on
sign.
that.
Yeah.
You go on that.
Colby, we go on a smoke investigation out on Highway 65, and I see a plume of smoke. And he goes, "Yeah, we'll just go check it out." I don't know, you know. I did love those Dodge Power Wagons though.
I know, yeah. They were nice for grass.
Because you know, so like
the
nowadays, if
Fescos?
you put a scratch on it, I put the first scratch on like the grass 5 at the time, brand new, and I thought I was gonna catch hell. But you could knock over a fence post, and you come back and Mike and we sand it down.
You know who built those Dodge Power Wagons, don't you? Desmond.
Desmond.
Oh, you're right.
Placer
You're right.
had one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know,
We had
the
two.
other thing, I'm the only one left that worked with your dad.
Probably. Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
No doubt about it.
I'm the only one that worked with
And
your
Terry's
dad.
dad is the only guy, right? And probably I don't know the history of the whole fire department, but that I know of that actually died on a fire.
Yeah.
Yeah. Is your dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's the only guy that died actually
Out
actually
there
on the line of duty.
Booth Road.
Booth Road and PFE. Yep.
Yeah.
Booth
December
Road.
11th.
Oh, was it?
He was there and
That
he
was
was
54?
standing there.
50.
And all of a sudden he reached over and he grabbed Lloyd Moore. He grabbed Lloyd Moore. Ah! And that was it.
Yeah. December 11th, 1968.
I was 3 years old.
But he and Whitley Shear, he and Whitley Shear were out together
68.
Hey,
when the call came
just
in.
slightly less than you
In
were
his
a punk
car.
as much as you were when you were 17.
He
Yeah,
and
30
Whitley
years
Shear in the
old.
car went out there.
Yeah. Him and Wheatley were good friends. And what was Wheatley was city
Now, I'll
clerk?
tell you,
then?
huh?
Was city clerk? Wheatley was city clerk or what?
No, I don't know.
Yeah, I can't remember what Wheatley's assigned job was. Was
I'll
it-
tell you a story about Whitley Shear. Whitley Shear was the city clerk at the time. And he used to tell me a story when he was a little kid going to Vernon Street School, when Vernon Street School is across the street from where the post office is.
Wow.
My dad, Myron Lackey, landed 2 biplanes on Vernon Street. And
Like
we-
emergency landing or just for fun?
No, just for fun.
Hey, wipe out a
Wheatley Shear's dad went to my dad and asked if he could take little Wheatley for a ride. So my dad put little Wheatley in between his legs and took off, taxied up, got about Judah Street, turned to the left, landed where where Royer Park is today.
Jeez.
For school, I actually went there my kindergarten and first grade, Vernon Street.
What was that again, Frank?
He went to
I went to-
kindergarten at Vernon Street School in
Vernon-
first grade.
In first grade.
Before it was gone,
Yeah.
like you were talking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't you go
And
to
then
school there too, Leslie?
they went to Caseburg School, and you know when you called somebody out for a fight or something like that, it was right where Terry's house is. There's a little creek there, that whole area, right by what's the gal that lived on the corner? Not the brick house, the rock house. Varus, Mrs. Varus. Remember?
There.
Yeah, right on that side. That's where everybody gathered up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Did you win?
Right by, it was Mark Titus's. Mark Titus?
Oh yeah.
Behind his house where we were killing bugs with. And I went and hid and fired. I think it was Ross Kelly
Did
came
he have
out.
a talking to you?
No, because I hid.
So I think they want to kind of get a gist or a concept of what maybe the dinner table / coffee table in the firehouse. So obviously the firehouse is set up like a house, you know, it's like our home, and it is. I mean, the whole fire service is like a second home. It's like a third of our lives. So we have another family is what we all consider it, I think. So I think they want to catch the concept of what happens here, and a lot happens at the firehouse kitchen / coffee table, because probably some of our training happens there. You guys chime in whenever you want. I mean, just things we learn about each other, our families. It's like our morning meeting place, huh? Right, Frank?
Right.
Yeah.
Well, we like I said, a third of our life, if not more, is at the station. So we get to know more than each other. You start to know everybody's families. You know, when you're happy for them when they have a child, and you're sad for them when they lose a family member, because that's part of when they come in sad. you're kind of down, or you're happy, you're happy. Try to pick each other up, that kind of thing most of the time. Not all the time, it works, but and it's interesting because if somebody has a child, you actually see that child grow up, not only your own, but you see them, become a teenager, or get married, and have kids. So it's like it is a second family, and usually at the coffee table or at the dinner tables when we kind of catch up on, what you do on your 4-day, or back then your 2-day, whatever it was. What do we change schedules like 3 times?
Yeah.
3 times.
Yeah, definitely.
So we catch up with everybody. Usually it's, we do our rig checks in the morning. I'll have coffee. Hey, how's it going? What's going on with you? What classes you taken? Things like that. So.
And it's always probably been like that, huh?
Yeah.
Has it always been like that? The coffee
Yeah.
table is like the nucleus of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was different too back when we started. When I started here as a sleeper in this station, you had one full-time firefighter and me. And so
Two guys.
Two guys.
Yeah.
You got a veteran and a young kid walking around, and so they teach you a lot.
Right.
Sometimes if you didn't get along with the guy, he didn't teach you.
Yeah. And the other thing was, back then, I don't think so much now, everybody had a second or third job.
Yeah.
I would say 95% of the guys had a second or third job. And
Well, one thing I'd like to say for the Brotherhood is that we noticed when I was there, we did a lot of sports. We did a lot of competition. Remember? We played a lot of basketball. We basically were together off duty. I mean, we did things together off duty, families, picnics, and sporting events where we actually did pretty good in some baseball, basketball. I don't know if you guys are doing that today, but I thought it was a great way to stay in touch and get away from the headache of the fire service or the stress of it.
Well, you had trap shooting. Buddy was on trap shooting team, right?
The what, Tony?
Didn't you guys have a trap shooting team?
Yeah, we had a trap team.
Yeah?
Yeah, matter of fact, we won, I think, 2 gold medals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
70,
of us here were involved.
73 or 74, something like that.
In the firefighter Olympics, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're in the firefighter Olympics. I think we made 2 gold medals. It was 5 of us.
I think one thing back to the table, Tony, I worked with Tony for a lot of years, and we used to say we could have the best reality show around the firehouse table.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you talk about, you throw a bunch of guys together, come from different backgrounds, different races, different religion backgrounds, and you throw them into, a table, and you guys got to live together. And, Political, absolutely. And we've had
so you're eating together.
Yeah,
can be said.
And in the morning, we have a coffee. Sometimes you have more guys from the other shifts, and you sit around and you talk about the local news and what's going on in politics and what's going. And sometimes those discussions got heated, but you always learn how to get along with people. And I take that in my life now, being retired. That we got people thinking different things, but I could still talk to somebody and hear their point of view because of Firehouse, and I think it really gave me that.
And a lot of that happens at the table.
Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
it just does. There's something different about. And there you go. You want to talk about table food. Firemen love food, and we love to eat food. And you have good cooks. This man was a pretty prominent cook in his day in the firehouse.
At one time, yeah. But you talk around sitting around the table at Station 2, which ended up Station 1. But when we were at Station 2, first thing in the morning, we'd sit down and chat and have coffee and discuss, how our day's going to go. Terry's dad and I had many conversations together. You spend 1/3 of your life working with these guys. Yeah. And pretty compatible.
I think
You got to get compatible.
Yeah. Right. I think one thing it actually
and,
taught me.
Basically, I look at the calls you guys get today, and basically the calls that I used to get back when, we had cars hit by trains, we had people hit by trains, we had full-blown structures, we had airplane crashes in the railroad yards, we had basically all the same calls that you guys are getting today. Major car crashes on the freeway, And by the way, that's what scared me the most, was the crashes on the freeway.
Yeah.
I would just absolutely, you get on that freeway with a big crash,
Yeah.
and you're a little nervous.
You're right. I think
You're a
if I
little
ever thought I
nervous.
got hurt on a call, it would be on the
And
freeway.
we'd get crashes out on the freeway. And so basically, we just did the same thing you guys are doing, but only less of it. And you get people hit by trains. It's not a pleasant thing to see, but you get it today. Cars hit by trains. It's all changed, but it's basically the same.
I think another thing it
But
taught me
it's-
around the
And
table
the thing is,
was,
the guys are all compatible.
yeah.
We're all compatible.
Well, you need to
Yeah.
become
You
compatible.
have to be.
If you don't,
No.
you're miserable.
You got to have some thick
And you always
skin,
have
but
an
you got to.
individual once in a while that
Right.
just doesn't, whatever, mesh. And so much of that, buddy's attitude, I think, in this, it's just the attitude you bring with yourself. It's like,
But I used to look forward, oh boy, I'm gonna go to shift work today. And when I started, I had to go as relief engineer. That meant Christmas, Christmas Eve, New Year's Eve, Easter, weekends, everything. I worked double shift. Sometimes you end up 3 and 4 times. But shift today is different because you guys are 2 days, 4 days. When I did it, it was 1 day, 2 days. So we'd go right through. There's many times I'd spend 3 and 4 days in this station, right here.
By yourself.
But yeah.
Yeah, just by yourself.
Yeah.
The only thing is, I had company was Raymond.
Raymond.
Now, Raymond was a little handicapped, and he was just a real nice person, and he'd come visit me and talk to me.
Didn't you live right
But
here, buddy?
Raymond, yeah.
Right next
He lived
door.
right here, yeah.
Next door.
Yeah.
Before he died, Carl Green made him an honorary
Oh,
firefighter.
yeah, I remember. He come out
And he
station.
deserved it.
Yeah.
And actually, if people would have paid more attention to Raymond, he was a walking history book of this old town.
I bet.
Yeah.
He came in my first shift here. Raymond came in and told me how to run the station and everything.
Yeah.
And we didn't have automatic doors in. He drove out and had to go back and shut the door. And Raymond said, no, that's my job. Okay, you guys leave. 3 o'clock in the morning, get a call, leave. Raymond come over and shut the doors for us.
we all of us here kind of knew Raymond. He was a local resident, and he was a special needs kid.
Yeah.
Not kid, he's older than I am.
yeah,
Heck.
he's old.
But anyways, super nice individual, and he used to come around and visit at least the close by stations, like Terry said.
Station 1
And
quite a
then
bit.
as we got bigger and bigger, less and less people knew him. But being small, he was just a great person, awesome. And like Terry said, it sounds like he ran this firehouse.
Oh, yeah, he did. He let you know it, too.
You know what other thing about the table I learned when I first came in, being so young, was how to interact with what I thought at the time were old guys.
Old dudes. Like
Old
me
guys.
interacting with you.
Old guys, yes, and back then a lot of guys smoked,
Yeah.
and I didn't get it, but
Oh, yeah.
you know I didn't get it, but
The walls are stained.
yes,
The stain with the
And you know
So-
what? I think what Frank's saying, a change, like learning how, because you're probably scared at first, right? To
Yeah.
interact with these older
And I probably considered 30
many
old,
generations
at the time.
But I know, but it's what's you think about what's changed in the fire service
God, yeah.
nowadays, because now these young individuals are coming in that it just is what it is. We got social media, and I'm not harping on phones. We all use them and need them, but what I'm saying is that's what's changing, I think, in our society today, is these young guys come into the fire service, and it's even more difficult for them to engage with us, with the older people, because of the way they communicate, all that stuff. It's harder.
But we go to them
I
and we
see
can't
it.
figure out how to open up our phone. We need them.
But I think that's something that's changing in the fire
oh yeah,
service.
yeah, everybody's got a phone, everybody's got a camera,
Yeah.
right? That's why I always look back. I go, why didn't they take more pictures? Because it was hard to pull out your camera and make sure you got the film to take a picture. You know.
Speaking of old guys, my first engineer was Ozzy Peachy over here. And I was new, and I was getting ready in the room, and I hear all this fighting. I heard fighting in the truck room. I'm like, what's going on? You know, I go run out there. What's going on? And
Ozzy's on the treadmill, and he's got, he can't hear, so he's got the TV on like 100 decibels, and he's watching Jerry Springer, and it's a fighting under. He goes, "Hey, buddy, what's up?" He's on his treadmill, and I heard the fight from Jerry Springer on the TV. I thought it was like fighting going on in the courtroom.
Yeah.
It was either Jerry Springer or The Price is Right.
Barney and lunchtime.
Yeah, the biggest thing again is the brotherhood, and the sisters, is just how we all would treat with respect on and off duty.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, you come in, like we were talking about, you could be having a heated political conversation at the table,
Right.
and 10 minutes later, you're going in a burning building, and you're relying on the brother next to you
Yeah.
to save your ass.
Yeah.
total people.
Good point. Yeah.
Right.
Or fighting over something.
Yeah.
I heard Mike Carey getting many arguments with many people.
No.
And then the next minute he's being, you know what, your guardian angel on a fire.
That's,
You know,
it's funny you mentioned that. There's been plenty of times Mike and I got into it upstairs, and then 5 seconds later, "Mike, do you want help?" He goes, "Yeah." Like, "Let's go." So we go downstairs. I go, "Well, just ask."
Yeah.
And we go downstairs, and then that's what you got to be. You just got to go. Okay,
Yeah.
done. Next.
Right.
You know. Oh yeah.
And the food was definitely the best.
Yeah.
I look forward more eating at the station than I did at home.
Oh yeah. Oh gosh.
Yeah, we had some good meals.
Yeah, really good.
Yeah.
We talk about the calls and everything that we've had. One thing that I had to experience was the old open air cab forward
yeah.
fire
Yep.
trucks.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, we had no cover over the
No,
top.
nothing.
And another thing I experienced is you're by yourself and you pull up to a full-blown structure by yourself.
Yeah.
It's a pretty tough decision to make. It's, it's different.
Oh yeah.
Today, you
Your
guys
priorities are a little different when you're by yourself.
By
About
yourself.
setting up for it. I'm
you
sure.
guys got all the help
Yeah.
you need, but when we pulled up, it was first in and last out. Huh.
You just gave yourself orders. Yeah. You know, I'm
And
doing
no
everything.
breathing apparatus.
Yeah.
It was different.
Buddy, how was the volunteer?
Yeah.
How was volunteers at that time? Were they pretty active? Come to
Yeah.
help you?
Yes.
So,
You
But
guys
I-
counted on the volunteers, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have a decal on the back window of my car, first in, last out, with a little bulldog.
Oh yeah.
But we did, them open air cab fire trucks, they were kind of different. They
Yeah.
were neat. You lose your hearing because the siren was right there.
No headphones in.
No, nothing. That's why I think.
today
I can't. Yeah.
What?
Today,
have
I
to.
would be fired when I used to work with Captain Athel.
Yeah.
I'd go to a structure fire and get there and kitchen be going, and I would just grab a booster light and go in, put it out, come back out, and everything was fine. You don't dare do that today. Not at all.
It's basically,
The booster.
it's all basically different, but basically the same. Calls are calls.
That's
Yeah,
true.
the same.
Calls are calls.
I think what's changed the fire service the most, obviously, it's sad, but it truly is litigation, and I know they mean it in some stuff in a safety aspect of stuff, but I just think it's changed the way we do stuff. There's no doubt it has changed it, and it's for the better. They're trying to make things safer, but in our heads, old firemen smoke-eating, dirty, spitting firemen. It's like it almost was frustrating to be here through that change of 2 in, 2 out,
in, 2 out.
that kind of stuff.
Good, yeah.
It definitely was.
It's like
I
you want to
think
do it,
made
it's like,
hard.
no, I could get in trouble.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And now it's like,
Not
it
the
was
old
hard, it
days.
was frustrating,
Yeah.
it was, yeah.
You either grab a line and go and put the fire out, or wait till somebody else comes to help you, and the
Yeah.
fire gets bigger.
So that's definitely one of the biggest changes we've all seen.
Yeah.
Is that, yeah.
There's so many changes.
Well, I also
Like-
think things have stayed the same, or I've done full circle.
Oh, you're right,
So
yeah.
I started in black turnouts, 1986.
Yeah.
I retired with black
I remember
turnouts
those.
in 2020.
Yeah.
Red fire engines, and then it went to yellow fire engines, and they came back to red fire engines.
Well, a little things like,
all that stuff kind of
like-
make full circle. Oh, like in strategy, when we were just 2 guys on a rig or 1 guy on a rig, you'd stick the fire hose in the window and put the fire out,
That's what it
And
was.
you could put the whole structure out that way.
Yeah.
And now they're going back to doing a lot of that, from outside the structure.
Where, you know, back in the day, you didn't, you know.
Like, remember, acting engineer, Chief Goolsby came in and says,
You know,
hey,
I've
we need
got
to take you. We need to take you.
all the
go
experiences
ahead.
that I've had with the fire department, all of the experiences, one stays in my mind and it'll be there forever. Carl Green was chief at the time. I was deputy fire marshal. I was in my vehicle. I pulled out of Station 1 out onto Vernon Street. I could see the smoke coming up. A house fire, a structure fire, somewhere in the neighborhood of B Street. I called the dispatch and she said, I'm getting ready to dispatch it now. I pulled up, I was the first one there. Now, you break all the rules. Sometimes you have to break the rules. The little guy come out and he was all burned. He said, my wife is there. My wife is still inside. Help her. By myself. No breathing apparatus. No rope tied to me.
You were in your preventions.
Yeah, I was in fire prevention then. And I went in, got this lady help, got her going, got her out. 2 days later, I got a phone call from the hospital saying the lady wanted to meet the fireman that saved her. I went to the hospital, I saw that lady, that precise moment in time. She grabbed me, hugged me, held me, thank you, thank you, thank you. At that precise moment, you could have been those hugs, $1 million, I'd have taken the hugs. It was just as simple as that. And that was a neat call. And another one, Terry's dad and I were on a call and we rescued a man who was we found him in the bathtub. I don't know if you remember that, but I still have the paper clipping on that. And that was 50 some odd years ago. But 2 rescues.
I'm sure we all have those calls that we kind of sticks in your head, you know.
Sometimes you got to break the rules. You have to break the rules sometimes.
Well,
A lot of people don't agree with me.
there weren't a lot of rules.
There wasn't a lot of rules back then.
You're on your own.
Yeah, you just got the job done.
They say, what about the rope tied to you? I don't know. Do you still use the rope tied to you? You don't need it no more. But we had
use
a
the
rope
for large area search.
We tie a rope
that's
to us.
And that's just a guide.
A building that's smoke filled. We had an oath. O-A-T-H.
That's still around. But
That's still around.
One pull is okay. Two rules is take up the slack. 3 rules, 4 pulls, help. O-A-T-H.
Wow.
Something.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Something
Don't
in
do
your
that
head.
no more.
When you rode tailboard back in the day, did you have a button, same kind of thing, back up and I'm on the tailboard like a little button?
No, I
didn't have any buttons.
They have no buttons
You
back
know,
there.
and that's
I remember one of our
Our
engines.
first
some
breathing
had a button we could
apparatus that I had when I started, the on and off valve didn't have a ratchet on it. So if you was in a building with the apparatus and you backed up over a hose or you backed up over something, it'd turn your
It
air
would
off.
roll, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep, it happened to you
That happened to me.
over on Alifa Street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
I backed out. I didn't have a ratchet on there. Backed out in the hose, George Benavides and I, and my air was shut off. Boy, you panic.
Yeah.
You're inside a smoke-filled building, and all of a sudden your air is shut off. But we talked to the reps in the company, told them you guys need ratchets. It's another thing on the turnout coats. They used to have snaps, and sometimes your snaps would get caught on things. So we talked to the people there that did the turnout coat. They turned the snaps around so they wouldn't get caught. I remember one time I got caught in a smoke ejector.
Buddy, guess what? Now the smoke ejectors blow the air into the house.
Positive
Do it a different
pressure.
way now.
Positive pressure. Chief Sharp, right here.
Uh-huh.
Yep. Do you want some names or?
So I think we have some of the names.
Yeah.
I don't know who some of these are.
Jeff Carmen, Dave Kennedy, Ray West, Bill Rose, Kent Freeman, John Palmer, Mike Carey, and probably firefighter Sharp, or was it engineer?
No, I was
Sharp?
captain. I was captain.
Captain then? Okay.
Yeah, I was captain. That was
Okay.
the '86 floods.
All right.
Yeah, so we've got a few pictures here.
You know what that picture
Oh,
reminds
yeah,
me
yeah.
of with all those guys lined up? It just makes me think of our uniforms, how those used
yeah.
to be like baby blue uniform shirts, and we had white t-shirts.
White t-shirts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Long ago. Anyways, that's what that.
It's over by you.
Columbia Street.
Yeah, that was just,
I
that was
remember
just,
that.
No,
That's my street.
that was the same flood.
Yeah.
'86, and
That must have been down by the creek down
that
there.
was,
Yeah, it
the,
was a
the
creek.
first the first court
Yeah.
going in. I can't think the name of it right now, Jim.
It was called Das Boat after that.
Yeah,
That was taken down by the,
That's still Columbia.
Billy Rose was driving.
Yeah, Jimmy's neighborhood.
I was
Yeah.
too.
Yeah.
I was on
Bill Rose was driving it.
Yeah, I was there.
he got on the radio and he said, he goes, how deep can he asked Mike Carey, how deep can I get this rig before it stalls out? He said, well, not very deep. about 20 minutes later, he goes, hey, I'm stuck.
I went.
You know what's funny about that? It sat there and idled the whole time in the water until he put it in gear.
Oh,
So as you put it in gear, it
Shorted out, yeah.
died.
Yeah,
Next
and the water got much higher.
My glasses.
What's that picture? I can't tell.
It's Kent, and I think Kevin Finney.
Oh, that was the floods again.
Yeah,
That's the
I think that was
floods.
Yeah, this is
Yeah.
all the floods, because I believe that's also Ed Rutherford, if I'm correct.
No, that's Freeman.
That's Freeman. I think.
Yeah.
Did he strip down and go out in the water?
I don't know.
That's where they
Jim
kept saying,
Jim Trunks.
more rope, more rope.
rope.
Remember
That might
that
have been
story?
over by
And,
the
and then
underpass.
finally got to the end, he kept saying, I got no more rope. I need more rope. And he just threw
that-
the end of the rope. Have it then. I can't remember who was calling
Is that at
for
the
it.
subway?
Yes,
The underpass?
it was at the subway.
Is that where Freeman started getting into rescue?
Yeah, exactly.
You gotta do better than this.
Yeah, that was by the station. Station 1. Where the new station is right there.
Yeah,
Right?
that was.
Yeah, that's the
Dry
bridge.
Creek
Yeah.
right
Oh, no,
there.
that looks like Riverside.
Is it Riverside?
I can't tell from way back here. It looks like Riverside.
Boy, you're right.
Yeah.
It might be River.
Yeah, lower.
I can't see what that says right there.
Yeah, I think that's Riverside.
You might be right, Terry.
Yeah,
Oh, you are right. Okay, you are right. Wait.
yeah.
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 Hang on. Buddy, let Buddy see this picture.
Oh, buddies.
Is that buddy at the top there?
You were a swinger then, buddy.
Club Med.
Club Med.
So
You
we,
want to talk about that?
You might wanna,
in 1980, probably 86 or 87, I think.
I thought it was 80.
A bunch of us,
Six.
myself, Frank,
Oh, I gotta look.
and the other individuals are gone and retired. Buddy used to do travel agency on his days off. He did it like a second job. And Buddy said, hey guys, I'm going to go to Club Med. I got a really good deal at Playa Blanca in Mexico. So a bunch of us guys, Frank and myself included, went for a week long at this all-inclusive Club Med and with Uncle Buddy. And it was one hell of a treat.
Me and Mike Carey doing the truck out at Folsom Lake.
Pump test. Pump test, yeah.
He was teaching me how to do the whole pump test.
With his shirt off.
What
Well, you
engine?
had to. That was required.
What engine is that?
Huh?
That looks
Is
like,
that the one in the movie?
no, that's a truck.
No,
Look at
that's
that.
the truck. That's the
86 413, no, truck
the
one.
platform.
Yeah. The
When I
platform one.
scratched, you wrote me up.
I did.
See, that's Dave Gensel and I think Finney. That was over on the.
Yeah, that's the
Oh,
one I
yeah,
called
that's
in
right
sick
here by
on.
7-Eleven.
I called in sick
Yep, it
on
was
that
right
one.
up- yeah, it was
John
right up-
Palmer was the engineer on that one.
Yeah, just behind 7-Eleven.
Yeah, I
Kent
called
Freeman
this-
was a new captain, kind of, and it was a fully involved structure right here by 7-Eleven. On what street is that right in there?
High Street.
Right by the
Or
veterinarian. The
Berkeley
veterinarian.
or-
High Street.
High Street.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
called in sick on that.
There it is.
Palmer got
There's
stuck with
Kent.
it.
That's Freeman right there. And that's myself in the middle and Art.
Were you on that engine? Were you on that?
I remember that fire. You know what? I remember that fire. Neil Ginsel the hydrant that we got from that fire
That
was
was rocks.
was the end hydrant. It was a blow-off hydrant. And we've now since painted these hydrants, but in the city we have these, they're end of the line, they're hydrants. So obviously debris and pebbles and stones and stuff gets in
Plug the
these
faucet
hydrants.
intake.
And that happened to be on this fire. So I remember Ginsel pumping and some fireman comes over to the pump panel just screaming at him. I'm not getting any water. I'm not getting any water. And Kim's like, what? He goes, I'm not getting any water. Neil walks around, which line are you on? And they told him whatever, pre-connected. Neil grabs a hold of the line, and it's as hard as a rock. He goes, something's plugged in that nozzle.
Yeah, that was again.
Oh, geez.
Again, we're not around the kitchen table, per se.
It's gonna be one of those movies.
I know. Nothing's changed.
Hey, there's Ozzy.
Hey!
Yeah.
That's when Ozzy
Look at
had
how
hair.
dark your hair is, Ozzy.
Yeah. And I still didn't have hair.
Some extrication, huh?
Yeah, remember we got at 2231, 2281.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Numbering system.
Here, go back one. You can tell it's the 80s. See the girls in the background. They got the big hair.
51. I think I still have my helmet from those. Actually, my son does.
That's
Frank, Kathy,
Kathy.
and
When she was dot eye.
Is that when she first started?
Mac.
Yeah.
That's Neil McLaren.
Neil McLaren.
Yeah. Dang. It's a while ago.
It's cool.
Kevin
That's
Finney.
now married to Kathy.
Look at,
Kevin.
hey, wait. You show those pictures to the guys that are complaining about these new lazy boys we got.
Those prison
And show
industry.
them the chair.
Prison industry.
We used to have to sit in.
Yeah,
We got guys actually, like Jimmy said, nothing's changed in the fire service. Guys are still complaining about their lazy boys are too uncomfortable.
There's your Dodge Power Wagon and the new
Dodge
ones.
Power Wagon.
there's
yeah.
the old power wagon.
Yep, and the new ones in. They're 88s.
There we go.
Your strike team.
Yeah.
That's good.
Tracy.
Tracy, yeah.
What?
Who's that up there by Tracy?
Sharp.
Oh, yeah. That was on Clinton, I think, or over there off Clinton, Terry.
I think you're
remember
right.
that
I think
fire.
you're right.
Really? I don't remember
Yeah.
that one.
307 C Street.
Oh, it is C
Well,
Street?
What is it?
CCC.
307, what was it?
Through C Street.
C Street.
No, I wonder if that, no, I was,
It's like Sis, Bruce, Sedano.
That's a good
Roten,
picture.
McLaren,
Roten.
Winkley,
Silva.
and Silva.
Silva.
The B Street Boys.
That's Edgar, Herlock,
Herlock.
and Mueller.
God.
Yeah. Just lost Billy.
Two of those guys are passed away, and
one of them we
And
just
Rick,
did a
and
service.
this one doesn't have hair anymore.
Really?
Shit.
Oh, boy.
Riverside, I remember that fire.
Anybody on this
Oh, I
fire?
was
Yeah.
on that one.
I was
Yeah.
IC.
Anybody talk about it? Maybe what they did?
That was
or-
the first aerial operation I think we did. One of the first
I don't know.
aerial operations.
I don't know.
this is a center hallway.
Yes.
And
Center
we
hallway
actually
construction.
had one or two people die.
One.
One death
Yeah,
in
one
this,
dead,
and I
yeah.
remember there was a jumper on the second floor
Yeah.
that jumped
Yeah.
out the
We had
window.
people. Yeah, several. I was in the IC on that fire.
just
I was
remember-
retired, but isn't that the one where the fire inspectors or investigators brought in the dogs? And the dogs found the lighter underneath the bed?
I don't remember
I
whatever
don't
caused
remember,
it.
but
Yeah.
maybe. But that,
Is
'cause
that the
that's-
hotel
Yeah,
fire?
the Riverside
Yeah,
Hotel.
Riverside.
It's the one there on
That's
the
what it
corner
was.
of Riverside.
I've been retired already, but I went down to see what it was all about. And the state had sent in investigators with a dog. And the dog found the lighter underneath the bed that started that fire.
Because that's where it started, they figured.
Yeah.
The
I, just
dog
re-
found it.
I remember trying to advance the line. It was hot. That's all I remember.
Place was
about
loaded
that.
with people. I mean,
Yeah.
it was around midnight, wasn't
Wow.
it? Somewhere around,
Yeah.
somewhere around midnight.
Yeah, we had people, multiple people hanging out the windows on that one.
That's about the fifth or sixth fire we had at that place.
Yeah, and that was owned by a
Yeah,
retired
we had one.
firefighter,
Who owned that?
Lloyd Moore.
Oh,
did
yeah,
he
I
own
heard
that?
his name
Yeah.
quite a few times.
Yeah,
I remember that fire.
Yeah.
I helped Tracy on the aerial on that one. If I recall.
You know, I give you guys a little bit more history. On the FDCs, you see the pipe that's hanging down? You know how that came about? That was John Buchanan. He was the fire chief of Woodland. And the problem he was having, people were shoving
Just stuff
ping
it.
pong ball or baseballs into the FDC, and they would plug it up. So if it went in and it dropped down into that deal, the water flowed.
Oh, the little
That
the
long
well. Oh, the
pipe-
well.
That
down there?
long pipe that's
Yeah.
headed down. John Buchanan invented that. And he was fire chief, I think, at the time of Woodland.
Huh.
And
I think it took
His
a
birthday
class from
yesterday.
him.
It was Buck's birthday yesterday,
Huh?
83. Buck, it was John's birthday yesterday.
Yeah.
It was his birthday yesterday.
Yep.
John Buchanan?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's my age, he's 85.
He was 83, he said.
89.
Yeah.
You're older than him.
Yeah,
That's old.
yeah. Do you ever see him? Is he in
No,
contact?
I see him, no, I just see him on Facebook.
My career here, I see nothing but good things, thanks to Chief Sharp. We advanced, we progressed. We have probably some of the best equipment in the state of California. We actually have a city that stood behind the fire department. And to this day, I tell everybody, and I'm not scared to say it, that I think Roseville Fire is probably one of the best departments in the state of California. And just because of the progressive, the equipment we have, you look around, the equipment we have, the training, and they're not scared to pay for it, the city of Roseville. And we're getting a lot of people now that come here because of our public safety.
For sure.
So.
Part of it.
Yeah, like Ozzy said, exactly. I think we've been around, everyone sitting here, long enough to see some huge changes at Roseville Fire Department. So from going to a 2-station department that was even BLS when I started, they were just getting into ALS. So just that, and then our special operations teams that we have now, from that started with hazmat, and now the technical rescue. It's just unfathomable what's changed in this. I think it seems to me like a short amount of time, but it's changed drastically. But I think kind of that's what's made me proud also, to watch Roseville grow to what it is. But I just think we're not big enough. I think like you talk about, I know people at City and Metro, and I know they have a great, whatever you want to call it, they have a great bond with each other too. All fire departments do, but I think we're at a size where the bond seems to be better. I think if you get too big, that bonding goes away. I think you get your small little cliques, but I think Roseville's still small enough, even though we've grown a lot, that you still have that bonding because of how small we are, that we all know each other. We get to know each other pretty quick, even the new guys, I think. So, and if I give any advice to somebody, I think obviously for me, it's attitude. I just think I've seen a lot of people destroy, even though we're small and everybody here is great individuals. I just have seen what a bad attitude can do to somebody in the fire service. I think I've seen people destroy their even home lives, their whole life, because of the attitude they have, and a lot of that stems from the leadership in the department. Obviously, your captain is kind of the main guy. I don't want to get on a tangent here, but what I'm trying to say is, I just think if you don't keep a good attitude, it'll make you miserable to come to work, and I think it festers and it's addictive. I think, and I think for advice, I think just try to keep a good attitude. Because this is a wonderful career. It's awesome. If you need to know more about why I think it's wonderful, get a hold of me, because I can ramble on all day right now.
Basically, I feel the way everybody else feels here. It's been a big improvement since I started. But another thing that'll be in my mind, I've had the honor and I've had the privilege of working with the 4 people's names that are on the wall in Sacramento. I'm probably the only one here that has worked with all 4 of those people. And they were great guys to work with, believe me. Absolutely. Especially his dad.
His dad, actually, kind of a little tidbit of information, the station I worked at is named after Chief Sharp's dad, Ray Sharp. It's the Memorial Fire Station for Ray Sharp. So it's kind of neat that I work at that station, and my first captain was Terry.
But I feel good about that. I've worked with all 4 of the people that are on the wall down there. And nobody on the fire department has done that yet. Worked with all 4 of them.
Nobody else will.
Nobody else will. Yeah.
So.
Pride, obviously for me, 3rd generation Roseville firefighter. My grandfather, my uncle, my dad. It was growing up in the firehouse, as a kid, go down and see my dad at the firehouse and get a haircut from Buddy. Advice coming along is keep your head on the swivel. You know, don't get focused, narrow vision. These things change so quick on emergencies, but always keep your head in the swivel. And like Tony said, the attitude, that's the best thing. Hey, it's the best job in the world.
Absolutely. Well, I'm like Chief Sharp. I'm third generation firefighter too. And, you know, I grew up going to calls with my old man and
In a car seat.
in a car seat.
Yeah, you did. You guys grew up going to fires as little kids.
So I grew up, you know, wanting to be a firefighter, and I remember, it was a South Placer fire, and I wasn't old enough to be a firefighter yet, but I went over there and said, "Is there something I could do to be kind of like a firefighter, but you know, not really be a firefighter?" And Todd Help, one of the guys over there, goes, "Well, you know what you could do? You could roll up all this hose for you. We can't pay you, but we can roll this hose up for you. You'll be like one of our, you know, be our firefighter." And I was so excited about rolling up all this hose, like 1,000-foot hose. I rolled it by myself, and I was like, oh, because I'm a firefighter. But like you said, it's attitude, right? I was so excited about being a firefighter and rolling up the hose. And even though he was making me paint the fence, you know, like Tom Sawyer, but I thought that was awesome. And growing up around the fire service, I've met all kinds of cool people. They're still my friends today. Worked with great people like Tony and Ozzy and this guy and Chief Sharp. And I've been around all those years, so I kind of absorbed all this. And I always used to like to say, and I said this in my retirement, that when you leave the fire department, you're not really remembered. I mean, you are, but you're not. I mean, you leave that day, you leave the door, someone else is going to take your place. So it's like, don't let your head get too big about, you know, you're the greatest thing on earth. And treat your fellow firefighters with respect, your patience. And I came over to Roseville because of good customer service. And I think Roseville still has that great customer service I see on Facebook and Instagram with their posts. They're still mowing people's lawns, and they're still taking care of their folks in the city. And that customer service is still there. It's part of the culture of Roseville. It's what made me want to come to Roseville. And so those are all the things. Keep those things going.
Mm-hmm. See, I'd say that if I had any advice as a young person growing up and thinking about getting the fire service, I'm lucky enough to have 2 sons in the fire service at neighboring departments. And which makes me happy because obviously they liked what I was doing. They followed in my footsteps. And one's a captain and one's a medic. And I don't know anything anymore, just ask them. I get the dad. Yeah, you're old, Dad. You don't know.
We don't do it like that.
We don't do it.
You're Lloyd Lehman.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a positive. So I would say, and everybody said attitude, educate yourself. Don't ever stop educating yourself. Keep your nose clean. Don't be, drinking and driving and all that stuff. It's so competitive nowadays that if you get 5 guys and they're hiring 6 people and you have a DUI or something in your past, that's enough to pass you up. Family, if you have family, family's first. Fire department's like a family. I think one of these guys was saying is don't bring your work home with you, but you got to share with your spouse or your family certain things. It's important. Some things I learned a little late in life. I wish I'd have known sooner. But the bottom line is stay positive, educate yourself, keep your nose clean, and don't give up. Keep trying. Back in the day, I probably took a dozen tests and I was getting close, but not close enough. Luckily, I was honored to get hired here full-time, which was awesome because I grew up here, went to high school here. And some of the calls were great because I knew people and it was a positive thing, and not so much because you actually know people we grew up with that passed away and stuff, and it's not good. But overall, my experience in this department was, I would say I wouldn't trade it for the world. I think we worked through the best times, at least what I feel as the department